All right, I'm going to bring up two players that are 2-1 right now in round 4. I have Enyma and ITmensch.
Sounds good. So we got going on here. So we've seen a fairly new deck rearing its head today. This Light the Votive's Psychic Ascension Turbo deck that's been it's been played a lot from the matches we've seen. It certainly is a definite presence in the decks that are currently 3-0, 4-0. A little bit different on this game though. We're seeing an Ivan Slagpot with Wild Sapphire. So instead of the +2/+2 for 7, Slagpot's here just to get some extra Dreadlings out, and we see a slightly different end game here as well in the form of Siege Engine Gemini. So we're looking for some cost reduction on that Siege Engine to get that down and double it up into 2. We also see a different type of Haraza deck here. So this is not the Socket deck. This is the Blood Ruby version of Haraza the Incinerator, running Scorpionox and Runic Avalanche, and I assume some Riftwarp Badgers as well.
All right, Enyma, in terms of rankings, has a Clash victory to his name earlier this year, and has been has a few 5-star weeklies. But actually, combined in a bunch of 5-star weeklies and Crash has a lot of PvP tools ladder points. Is actually rank 3 here, so does get to play a lot. And ITmensch, a little newer, not newer actually, but not too many performances to his name, so should be good stuff. And we get to see Scorpionox and some Ivan Slagpot. Yeah, see how it goes.
So, not too slow here, honestly. Corruptor's a decent pickup too, but we've got the Sharpshooter coming down next turn, potentially followed up by a Wild's Favor. Really, I think, though, Enyma looking for another Underworld troop of some kind. It does get one in the form of that Conscript. And it is, of course, in Necrotic, so that will help Slagpot out somewhat. A little bit more bang for the buck on that charge power use. We see Corruptor come in and give that Sharpshooter a little bit of a debuff there. Every turn that's going to hit Enyma 2 damage. Double Gemini in the hand too, which is a little bit crazy, honestly. So that's four Dreadlings from the favor, another 2 from the charge power there as well, potentially, plus 2 attacks from Sharpshooter and Spiritbound Spy here. That's gonna leave those siege engines nice and low. Not quite low enough just yet, but definitely low. We actually see the Commander Prompt come in here instead.
It puts the Sharpshooter out of range of being blocked by the Nefarious Corruptor.
It is a chump because it's still big damage, and the Nefarious Corruptor replaces itself with an Abomination. So good stuff here. The Scorpionox is coming in. It has to go in. It's going to get some decent damage and some decent health gain here, but it's not going to be able to kill the blocker.
It will gain 4 health though.
This is about to become a very unhappy situation once these siege engines come down. That's going to be 4 8/8s.
Vampire Prince blocking the gigantic Sharpshooter. Here's some free Siege Engine Geminis. Just a few. They're 8/8 crushes.
Yeah, Scorponok's is a very powerful card, but I don't think it can beat 488s.
Make Avalanche. Creates an 8/8. All right. We've gotten started. And that makes that Scorpionox really, really big, but it's not going to be good enough to stop.
Really big, in fact. That was a very, very large Scorponok's. But it's still not enough. As much health as that was gained, it's still not enough.
All right. Enyma wins game 1. We're on to game number 2. ITmensch on the play. Scorpionoxes. Furious Corruptor, but those are high cost cards with those 2 resources.
They are. There's a Misery there, and I'm not a huge fan of Misery in any deck because of the high threshold cost. Unless it's a mono blood deck, I suppose. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of a card that could potentially just be a dead card that would help you if you could play it, but you can't. And there's a high chance that you can't. Because this deck wants double ruby, and the shard base likely doesn't easily support getting double ruby and triple blood.
It's a lot, but he'll go with it.
On the other side, we see some pretty quick stuff, honestly. Tactician plus Sharpshooter plus Wild's Favor is big damage in the early game, and it does also stand a good chance of reducing the cost of that Siege Engine Gemini as well.
A turn where Wild's Favor is played, potentially a huge one for the Ivan deck. There's Minaryu Sharpshooter. ITmensch doesn't find Ruby, has a Vampire Princess and Nefarious Corruptor in hand, and just lets this go. This has no choice. Even that Deadeye Slicer that is created is 1 cost. Sharpshooter goes up to 5/5.
Pretty big game on turn 3. And there's also a Bloodbearer in hand too. So I think that Sharpshooter, from what we've seen of Sharpshooter's play today, Sharpshooter says, conscript the perfect troop for your deck and put it into your hand. Because, you know...
That's what conscript does.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. A speed troop is obviously perfect for a deck that wants to attack and reduce the cost of something by assault. And also increase the attack power of a troop that gets increased attack power when 1-cost troops attack. And then, you know, a deck that makes Dreadlings would like a Bloodbearer to gain health as well. So, Conscript doing some good work there. I think it's just the case that all 1-cost Conscripts within reason are pretty good for a Dreadling deck.
That is true, and combined with ITmensch just not having a hand that can stop, that's anywhere close to stopping it. We saw the Miseries couldn't be played, missing that blood, 3 drops weren't reached, and a bunch of 5 costs in hand wasn't going to happen, and Enyma goes 3-1 after this one, so still decent position here in the HEX Bash even.